welcome to Las Vegas for the season finale of the Blown Piston Racing Series on Friday nights. We are here for our championship determining race here. We have had playoffs for 2 rounds and 4 races before this, and we have narrowed it down to 4 drivers that'll fight for the championship here over 150 laps. The highest finishing four of the four will take away the big trophy here tonight. So let's give you a quick look of who those 4 guys are. On the top left of your screen, you see the Navy liveried car, the number 22 of Jason Branch. On the top right of your screen, you see the number 2 STP car of Mike Perry. And on the bottom left, you have the number 44 car there of Marshall Stanley. And on the bottom right, you see the red lowline racing car of Andrew Mraz. These are the 4 guys that have made it through the playoffs and came out on top of what we started with 16. We narrowed it down to 8, and these are our final 4. These are the 4 drivers that are going to be battling for the championship trophy here tonight at Las Vegas under the lights. So keep an eye out for these guys, and obviously we will keep you posted of where they are as good as we can. This is the big race tonight. This is where we are going to pick up that trophy. All right, we are currently in the final moments of qualifying, and it looks like we have several cars back out on track. Here is one of our championship favorites, Andrew Mraz, coming down to a halt, ending his practice session possibly, and it looks like we have just another 2 minutes to go or something before we go into qualifying. Qualifying will be done individually, as you know, and behind Andrew there we see the number 44 car of Marshall Stanley, one of our other 4 contenders here for the championship. We have some more guys out on track. We have a good-sized field here tonight. It looks like we're going to be starting at 24 cars in this race. So everybody is eager to be here. There's some money to be won here tonight. It's not just the championship race. It is the big finale for all these guys here wanting to end their season with Blown Piston Racing in the trucks on a high note, obviously. There you're looking at Jeremy Rittenberg in the number 26 car. We have Ryan Nicoletta back out in the back the blue car. And we have Casey Duncan, who unfortunately lucked out last time with some hardware problems, in a brand new livery here for the United States Postal Service, the number 17 car. That is Casey Duncan, one of your top drivers in this series as well. Unfortunately didn't make it to the final 4, but he was pretty close. We have Brian Fallon here in the 08. And let's go take another look here. We have Adam Pettit here in the number 57 machine. Also one of our regular drivers, I would say. Haven't seen him every race, but he's been here quite a bit. Tommy Ryan. And as we're waiting for the qualifying to get started, it looks like we are finishing up practice here. And that brings us into qualifying. And we'll have the first few drivers out here momentarily. There you have one of our championship favorites, Andrew Mraz, coming out to qualify for this final race here. He's been running very, very strong. He won the race last time to actually secure his spot in the final 4. He was down on points in the Elite 8, and with a win last time, he made it in. So I'm sure he's going to be putting his best foot forward and make sure he's going to make it into that into victory lane tonight. Let's see how he does here on qualifying. As you see on the main straightaway, guys are going below the white line onto the apron. They are allowed to do that, obviously, and it seems to gain them a little bit of time. And that's at least what they're hoping for. But as always, we have to be. Well, they have to be a little bit careful in that transition from the apron to the track. We've seen drivers lose it. Doing that, making that transition back onto the banking, the back end can step out on you a little bit. And the difference between the apron here is not that huge with the banking, but still it is something to keep in mind. Especially when tires are wearing down and stuff like that. So currently the quickest on the time chart here in qualifying is Andrew Mraz with a 31.01, and I was hoping to bring up that lap time for you. There you go, 31.012 to be exact. We have the Marshall Stanley, another championship contender there, also very quick, just being pushed down. And it looks like Avery Wilson is taking over that provisional pole. And as I say it, it is Tommy Ryan. And let's find out where our other drivers are as far as the playoffs is concerned. Jason Branch, the number 22 Navy car, hasn't posted a time yet. He's just getting out there. And let's see if we can find Marshall Stanley. Oh, we already had him. He's up there in 5th. And I am looking for Mike Perry also. Mike Perry is out on track in the number 2 car currently. Hasn't posted a time yet. Let's see Jason Branch. And he's told me before he knows one of his weak points is the qualifying itself, and he always struggles a little bit to bring himself in that top 5 or top 10 in qualifying, and he's currently in 21st position. But that doesn't mean anything. We got 105 laps to sort this thing out, so we're pretty sure that Jason will find his way forward. We have Casey Duncan out on track with a 30.981. He has put himself on the 5th spot there. That is pretty good. Jordan Berry is back. He put himself on position number 8 with a 30.999. And Jason Branch looks like he has, in fact, let's see if we can bring him back here. In the replay, Jason has brought himself a little bit further up in 10th position. And I am still looking to see Mike Perry. Mike Perry is still running out there. This is the live picture that you're looking at. He's one of the final cars on the track. Let's see what Mike can do to help his chances to get started on this championship race. 18th position currently with a 31.059. One more lap to go for Mike. And it looks like Mike Perry has pushed himself into the 12th position on the grid here. Already turned off the engine and coasts it back to pit lane. We have 25 cars that have posted a lap time, and the only one that has not in my scoring system is Lauren Wise. She's our administrator. She does run practice with the guys, but she runs administrator for the rest of the time. So there you have it. The grid of our race is been determined, and let's go take a look at it real quick. There we have Randy Yoakum on pole position. As you're looking at Andrew Mraz in the background, alongside Randy Yoakum will be Tommy Ryan. Avery Wilson and Andrew Mraz are going to be on the second row. Then it's going to be Casey Duncan and Adam Pettit in the number 57 car on the third row. Fourth row will be Marshall Stanley, one of our contenders for the championship, with Jordan Berry from Canada. And then we have Andrew Moore Jr. and Jason Branch on the fifth row. Branch being our third contender here for the championship. In the sixth row, it'll be Brian Rainville with championship contender Mike Perry alongside him. Then we're going to go look at the seventh row with Randy Bledsoe and Brian Fallon. Then it is Aaron Gurwitch, in the number 9 car on the 8th row with Randy Perdue alongside him. 9th row for Matt Miller and Kevin Nicoletta. The 10th row for Jeff Ryan and David Dolliver. Then it is the 11th row with Anthony Handley and Ryan Nicoletta. Then it's Scott Wise, also known as Indiana Wise, and Kurt Rittenberg on the 12th row. And in the 25th position on the final row there, we will see Jeremy Rittenberg start his race. There is your racing order, folks. That is your starting grid. We are lined up and ready to go. There's your first row, Randy Yoakum and Tommy Ryan. And then it's Avery Wilson and Andrew Mraz. Let's go find Marshall Stanley, one of our championship contenders. And right closely behind him, it is Jason Branch in the Navy car. And there you have Mike Perry in the 12th position in the number 2 car. That is your championship fighting drivers. And we are slowly getting going here in Las Vegas. 150 laps. The stages will be at lap 40 and 80, which is not relevant for the championship. The drivers have one fast repair at their disposal, and the fast repair means that they have that they can get a pit stop with all damage to the car being quick repaired instantly. That includes damage to the body, the suspensions and whatnot. It does not include the tire changes and the fuel. They will be calculated as normal. The fuel capacity these guys are running is 50% of the real-life cars, which means they will be pitting a little bit more often than they would in reality. And I cannot really give you a pit window right now. I have not been able to find anybody to tell me that, but we'll find out quick enough. And as said, we have a good field here, 25 cars getting ready to start this race. As we are coming around, the pace truck will be moving in pretty soon. Randy Yoakum in the number 8 car in your leading position, waiting for the radio call. And folks, there we have it. The green flag is out. We are racing in Las Vegas for the Blown Piston Championship race. And it looks like Randy Yoakum has got that lead there. The number 18 car of Avery Wilson right behind him. Andrew Mraz in the 28 car there in 4th position. The number 6 of Tommy Ryan being caught out a little bit on the outside there. Ooh, we see a driver going down. That is Brian Rainville. Not really sure what happened to him. He lucked out there and got onto the apron. And we have a caution. Let's go find... Oh, no, it is Andrew Mraz that it gets turned around. Our championship contender, Jordan Berry, gets caught in that. The number 8 car of a Randy Yoakum there. Let's go and bring back what happens here. The number 28 pushing towards the 18, trying to get to the lead, and he's trying to go outside, and he is unaware of Yoakum being there. And that is a matter of being attentive to your spotters, and he probably figured that the 8 would be a little bit higher. And that is one thing the spotter in iRacing doesn't tell you, how high above the other driver is. So we see Andrew Mraz with an early pit stop here in Las Vegas. and he's hit the escape button. That's why he's already there, and that means he's going to have to wait for iRacing to calculate that tow, and I'm fairly sure he will take that fast repair that he has at his disposal pretty quickly. We see Jordan Berry also coming into the pits. He has also got some damage from that incident. And then we also see Kurt Rittenberg and Jeremy Rittenberg following each other into the pits. Randy Yoakum doing the same thing. Brian Rainville, I'm sorry, he is taking a pit stop. And we are looking at Andrew Mraz. He is waiting for that tow to be finished. There you have Jordan Berry, a little bit sideways in his pit stall, but I do believe that he is looking back in good shape, taking that fast repair. Yes, indeed. And let's go take a look there at Yoakum. That also looks to me like he has taken that fast repair. No, he has not. You can tell the bodywork on the rear end there is still a little bent up, and he has not taken that fast repair. Brian Rainville is coming back out. Not sure what happened to him when he went on that apron there. There we have Andrew Mraz, your championship contender in pit lane, and that means he is looking to go down a lap as the other drivers are coming around, and hopefully he can get out there before the field passes him again, because being a lap down, that's going to hurt his chances significantly, obviously. And it doesn't look like he's able to get out. Oh, he's still sitting there. He did take that fast repair, it looks like. He is being worked on as we speak. That tow took longer than he had hoped for, I'm sure. Andrew Mraz is back out, and it does look like he is going down another lap. He is now 2 laps down from the leaders. He has taken that fast repair. And as said, folks, we have 150 laps to go. So, well, obviously not the full 150, but we have a long ways to go before this thing is done. Anything can happen. Andrew Mraz is a very good and fast driver. I'm not counting him out just yet at all. Marshall Stanley is your third place driver in this race. He is the highest running driver of the Final Four, so at this point he is in the best position. Then it's Jason Branch that is in 7th position, and Mike Berry is behind him in 9th, or 8th I should say. These guys are close together here, so Marshall Stanley currently the leading championship driver. Jordan Berry, after his pit stop, dropped down to 9th, and we have our new leader, Avery Wilson, in the number 18 car, and we have Casey Duncan in the number 17 postal car. I guess he's running the postal truck tonight. Quick delivery. He's already delivered himself to the 2nd spot here. Lights on the pace truck are still on, so we're not quite ready to go green just yet. Let's ride along here for just a little bit. Casey Duncan. And we see the orange truck, the Gulf livery of Andrew Moore Jr. Adam Pettit in the 57 car. Randy Bledsoe up here in the 81. Aaron Gurwitch. The 08 of Brian Fallon. And we have Scott Wise in the 31 there in a brand new livery, and actually pretty cool looking machine there. I haven't seen that livery before. It looks great. And there we see the lights on the pace truck going out. That means we're going to go back to green flag racing as starting lap number 7, the end of this lap. We have Avery Wilson leading the group around here with Casey Duncan that is going to be on his outside. We might actually stay single file the way it looks now. And we're going to keep an eye on you for Andrew Mraz for you during this race and see if he can improve his chances there. He is currently running right behind Ryan Nicoletta. And Randy Yoakum has been back in the pits on this final pace lap, and he's trying to catch back up to the field there as well as the cars come rolling down the backstretch here. So our first early yellow is behind us. Let's get this party going. Avery Wilson leading the pack here, waiting for the truck to go in. It's Casey Duncan and Marshall Stanley right behind him there.
Green flag.
And Avery waited till the radio call, and there we go. He is on the move. Casey Duncan dropping back a couple of car lengths. Single file restart. That makes for a little bit less hectic field here. Marshall Stanley, currently your leading championship driver, in the 3rd position with Tommy Ryan right behind him, Andrew Moore, Adam Pettit, and Jason Branch in 7th, Mike Perry in 8th. And it looks like we got everything going in the right direction and everybody on their way. We can see Adam Pettit going down a little bit on that apron, and we see Marshall Stanley making a move on Casey Duncan there on the bottom. Not quite there, and the number 6 actually passes Marshall Stanley as he is in the draft of the postal car there. Obviously on a big speedway like Las Vegas, 1.5 miles, we are currently obviously reaching speeds where the draft and the airflow are very important, and that's why you saw all the guys that did sustain some damage take that fast repair right away. Currently it's actually Mike Perry that ran the fastest lap of the race, and he is in the back end of that group there in the 8th position in the STP car, right behind Jason Branch, 2 of the title contenders here. And they're trying to use that draft. They actually have caught up with all these guys. Marshall Stanley in 6th. Andrew Moore has worked his way past there to 3rd position. Adam Pettit in 4th. It is Tommy Ryan that is actually challenging Avery Wilson for the lead. And it looks like Marshall Stanley has dropped to the back end of that pack here, having a little bit more trouble keeping up. And it's Mike Perry that is now in 5th position, and that makes Mike Perry the highest running championship contender here at this point. Casey Duncan in between him and Marshall Stanley. Then it's Jason Branch in 8th, and Brian Fallon in 9th, Randy Perdue in 10th. Let's go see if we can find how Andrew is doing. Andrew is working his way to the field here. Andrew Mraz, our 4th championship contender. But obviously he's got a lot of catching up to do. He's got to basically pass the entire field twice before he is back in contention. So he's really hoping for some yellows to fall his way. We are back at the leaders here with Avery Wilson and Tommy Ryan side by side for the race lead. Andrew Moore is in battle there side by side with Adam Pettit for that 3rd spot, and then right behind these guys it's Mike Perry in the number 2, Marshall Stanley, 2 of the championship contenders. Casey Duncan is there with Brian Fallon, and Jason Branch looks like he has had to let Brian Fallon go past him there, but he's definitely got the pace, that is obvious. All these guys are having good pace, the entire first 8 drivers there in a big group. It is actually Tommy Ryan now that has picked up the lead. And he is looking back at Avery Wilson here on the main straightaway. Underneath that yellow line, it looks like Avery is going to the higher side. And the long way around is not necessarily the quickest, but it looks like there is good grip for these guys in both racing lines. And then it's Avery Wilson taking that lead back from Tommy Ryan right now. Andrew Moore still in third, right there behind him. Tommy Ryan picking up that draft. Getting the nose on the outside of the 18 car. Mike Perry has moved into fourth. It's the 57 of Adam Pettit that seems to be dropping back a little bit. Mike Perry now in fourth position with Marshall Stanley following him in fifth. Pettit is now in sixth, and Jason Branch is there in the tail end of this group. Let's ride along here with Mike Perry, one of your highest running championship driver currently. In fourth position, right behind Andrew Moore in the Gulf car. Avery Wilson in second, Tommy Ryan further up there in the lead. This is Mike Perry going around the outside of Andrew Moore. Well, trying to at least. He didn't quite make it yet, but he's definitely trying, and it looks like he's having some help from Marshall Stanley there. That is bump drafting him a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see how long these tires are going to last for these guys. Marshall Stanley picking up the draft there from Mike Perry. Jason Branch still in 8th position in the back end of this big group here. There you have him, right behind the 08. Your leader is still Tommy Ryan. The number 6 car there, and your second place is the 18 of Avery Wilson. Mike Perry now in 3rd position, and it looks like those top 3 drivers are pulling away a little bit from the rest of them. And the rest of them are being led by the blue of number 44 of Marshall Stanley, Andrew Moore, Adam Pettit, Brian Fallon, Jason Branch. Jason Branch closing out that group, and then it's a little bit further back to Casey Duncan, and he is leading Jeff Ryan and Randy Perdue. And coming down the backstretch, Mike Perry trying to catch that draft. A little bit of sparks flying. Could just be the body work on the asphalt. The cars are running very low here. And it looks like Avery Wilson is picking up that lead once again with Mike Perry right there in his draft. Mike Perry now coming to the outside of Wilson, picking up that 2nd position. And Avery Wilson slotting in there in 3rd. Mike Perry all the way up to 8th position already. He has gained 10 spots since the start of this race. And let's go check back on Jason Branch. He is still in that 2nd group. He is running in 7th position now, right behind Andrew Moore. And it looks like he is, they're going 3 wide there. Gotta be careful, guys. That almost went wrong there for Jason Branch. Marshall Stanley is behind Jason Branch now in 7th position. Mike Perry in 2nd. The group with Ryan and Perry and Wilson close together here, fighting for the lead. Lap 22 of 150. And quite a bit of distance now. The gap growing towards Adam Pettit there. Then it's Andrew Moore and Jason Branch now in 6th. And these guys seem to be pulling away a little bit from their pursuance as well. The number 8 of Brian Fallon and Marshall Stanley into 44. So Jason Branch has worked his way forward somewhat. He seems to be choosing the higher line there quite a bit, trying to stay in the draft of Andrew Moore. And as you can see, that second group is stretching out. Marshall Stanley in 8th. And then it's Jeff Ryan in the number 3 iRacing livery in the 9th position. And it's Casey Duncan in 10th. And in between there, you definitely could see the number 28 of Andrew Mraz. So Andrew Mraz has worked his way pretty much through half the field. But once again, folks, we got to realize that Andrew Mraz has got to do this twice. He needs the yellows to fall right for him. He needs to be in the lucky dog positions if they use him. I'm fairly sure they do. He needs to make sure he can make up one or both of those laps with yellow flag situations. Because if it's purely on racing, it is not going to work. We have Matt Miller going into the pits, coming down the pit road here. Let's keep an eye and see what's going on with him. We have 20 laps behind our belt. Might be a fuel and tire stop, regular service. He is the first one in, and that is in fact what it looks like. Let's go pick up Jason Branch here in the number 22 car, 6th position now. He has gained a little bit from the start there. We see several guys going in. Marshall Stanley is in. Randy Perdue is in. Anthony Hanley in the number 4 car in the pit. David Dolliver in the pit. So there's a bunch of guys, there's 4 drivers for you right there that are coming into the pits early, tires and fuel. And that tells us that the fuel window should be somewhere around 28 laps or so. We have Tommy Ryan now coming in from the lead. We have Andrew Moore and Brian Fallon also coming into the pits. There he is in the number 8 car. It is Avery Wilson that picks up the lead in front of Mike Perry, Adam Pettit, and Jason Branch. Then we have Aaron Gerwitz in the green and black Puma livery there, the 09 car, I'm sorry. He is in 5th, and Jordan Berry back up in 7th position now. There we have the leaders, Avery Wilson and Mike Perry coming into the pits for their first service. Jason Branch into the pits for his service. And a whole bunch of other guys, Jeff Ryan, Tommy Ryan, Andrew Moore. I'm sorry, those are back out. Scott Wise is in the pit. Casey Duncan in the pits. There you have him. It is busy on pit road. And let's go see who comes out first here. Oops, wrong camera, can't see him. Mike Perry, left side tires. Avery Wilson, also left side tires. And let's see who is coming out there. That does look like Mike Perry, but he does not beat Avery Wilson out. Kurt Rittenberg coming into the pits, and it is currently Jordan Berry that is leading the pack here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Remember, he had an early pit stop because of the incident with Andrew Mraz. And there he is coming down towards pit road as well. Randy Yoakum also was involved in that earlier incident. He is coming down pit road. Brian Rainville, Ryan Nicoletta, and that will put Tommy Ryan back in the leading position, it looks like. With Marshall Stanley now in the second spot, while he's still 6th, but he's going to be 2nd here in a minute when they come back around. And that puts Marshall Stanley in a pretty good position. He was running 8th, and it looks like he gained quite a bit of track position with the pit stop, so that makes you wonder if he only took one side of tires. And that would be a pretty good call, except he might be paying for it later. So Marshall Stanley currently in championship winning position, right behind the race leader, Tommy Ryan. Let's ride along with him here for a little bit. And as you can see there, he's working that wheel a little bit when he makes that transition from the apron to the banking. Marshall Stanley now challenging there for the lead. It's Avery Wilson and right behind Tommy Ryan, and they're drafting past Marshall Stanley. Andrew Moore right behind him. Stanley and Ryan now in the lead there, side by side. Marshall Stanley back in third. The 08 of Brian Fallon, and then Mike Perry in sixth position. Let's go find out what happened to Jason. Jason Branch is in ninth position, right behind Adam Pettit. And Andrew Mraz has obviously not won anything with these pit stops, as they were green flag pit stops. But Mraz is running right behind Jason Branch. That means he is still making progress going through the field here. Mike Perry in sixth. Marshall Stanley in third. It's Avery Wilson leading the race in front of Tommy Ryan. And your championship contender, Marshall Stanley, in third. Lap 33 of 150. And it looks like all these guys here in that leading group are pretty evenly matched. We have Avery Wilson leading, Tommy Ryan, Marshall Stanley, Andrew Moore, Brian Fallon, and Mike Perry. Andrew Moore now passing Marshall Stanley and putting him back in fourth position. Brian Fallon, in the 08 car in fifth, and Mike Perry in the tail end of this group in sixth position. Jason Branch a little bit further back, running right behind Adam Pettit, and Jason has Andrew Mraz behind him, but remember, Andrew Mraz is down 2 laps. And as you can see, Mraz is not giving up. He's driving as if he's racing for position. He needs to get to the front. If he can catch up with the leaders, that would give him 1 lap back, and then a yellow could, if that would fall his way, that could help him even more. There you have the leading group. Andrew Moore Jr. now in second. Tommy Ryan in third. Marshall Stanley now in fourth. Brian still in fifth, and Mike still in sixth. And once again, these guys are really evenly matched here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Nice group racing. It's clearly they can drive double grooves. They can run side by side without losing any speed or grip. The track seems to be rubbered in really well. Mike Perry there in the sixth position. Right along with him here for a moment. The draft obviously helping Mike here, coming alongside. He's kind of boxed in there, right behind Marshall Stanley. He's definitely a little boxed in there. Now he's cutting underneath the 08, trying to get alongside there on the inside. He's not quite close enough. 3 wide would maybe not be such a great idea this early in the race, but there it looks like he is getting past the 44 of Marshall Stanley. Mike Perry, currently your leading championship driver, but it's neck and neck with Marshall Stanley here for the championship. And it does look like Marshall Stanley is dropping back there a little bit. couple of car lengths between him and Perry there. Jason Branch in 7th. He has let go Andrew Mraz. That was not for position. Andrew is still 2 laps down, but he's working hard on improving that situation. And he's definitely helping Jason Branch here, creating a good draft for Jason. And let's ride along with Jason Branch here for a moment. Ooh, it looks like Jason runs a little bit wide here. And that seems to cost him the connection to Mraz. He's still close enough to be able to pick that back up if he's able to catch the draft. It's Avery Wilson still in the lead. It's Brian Fallon that has worked his way back up to second position, I should say. It's Mike Perry that is right behind him. Mike Perry currently your championship leading driver. Andrew Moore in 4th, Adam Pettit in 5th, Marshall Stanley now in 6th, Jason Branch in 7th. So Stanley and Branch, they're together with Andrew Mraz. That is 3 championship drivers in one shot. Mraz obviously 2 laps down from that early incident, but still fighting hard. Not ready to give up, and that's the way it should be when you're doing this kind of stuff. You might be 2 laps down, but a lot can happen. We still have a ways to go. And, ooh, it looks like they touched a little bit there. They might be trying to work together there a little bit. There you have them, 3 championship contenders. Chasing after the 4th one, that is Mike Perry, currently running in the 3rd position in the race. Let's go take a look and see what happened to Casey Duncan. He has dropped back to 18th since the pit stops. Not sure what the deal is there, but he was up front there early on. Scott Wise in that beautiful new livery in 17th position is trying to hold him off. And then we have Ryan Nicoletta, Brian Rainville, Kurt Rittenberg, and David Dolliver there in the back end of the pack. And it looks like Kevin Nicoletta is also a lap down. Tommy Ryan has given up. And that's unfortunate for Tommy Ryan. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he did run very strong there in the beginning. Wilson, Fallon, and Perry, the top 3 drivers here together. Looks like Brian is going for the inside there, trying to steal that lead. Mike Perry hanging there with him. And then it's Adam Pettit and Andrew Moore running together a little bit further back now. And Jason Branch, Marshall Stanley, they are running 6th and 7th. And they have Andrew Mraz, the 4th championship contender, right in between them there. Matt Miller is once again the first driver to head towards pit lane. Mike Perry going for the lead now. Going to the inside of Avery Wilson. He has already passed Brian Fallon. He is not happy just with winning the championship. He wants that race win as well. Marshall Stanley going to the pits. The first of our championship drivers coming down pit road. Actually, he's not the first. He is behind Andrew Mraz, but Andrew Mraz still has leapt down. Randy Perdue in the pits, Anthony Handley, Jeremy Rittenberg, David Dolliver, while the top guys are staying out there. Avery Wilson has passed Mike Perry. Mike Perry was headed towards the pit. There, he slowed down, and that's the reason Avery Wilson took that lead back from him. Jason Branch now in fourth. And it looks like we see Jason Branch slowing down to come down to pit road. Avery Wilson is doing the same thing. Brian Fallon, Adam Pettit, Jason Branch all coming down pit road. Mike Perry making his way back out. And Mike is, let me see. Avery Wilson still in the pits. Ooh, looks like Avery misjudged his box there. He's got to move his car around a little bit to maneuver it so that they will work on that car. That's a costly mistake under green. Jason Branch going out there. Staying in front of the 08. Randy Yoakum currently your leader. Jordan Berry into the pits, Ryan Nicoletta. And there we have Mike Perry. Mike Perry right in front of Marshall Stanley, only 0.6 of a second between these two championship contenders. And from the looks of things, once Brian Yoakum pits, they will be your leading drivers. There you're looking back at Marshall Stanley in the 44 car. And there we have Randy Yoakum going down to pit road. That brings Mike Perry to be your new leader here. And he is right in front of Marshall Stanley, so we seriously have a championship and race win battle going on here on lap 54. Mike Perry, Marshall Stanley, two of our top drivers, riding along with Marshall Stanley. And as you can see, that track here in Las Vegas is a little bit bumpier than it looks like at first sight. Let's go check on Jason Branch, our third championship contender. He is currently running in the 7th position. And Andrew Mraz is 24th, still 2 laps down. Andrew really needs the help of a yellow that would fall his way. Adam Pettit there in 3rd position. It looks like Andrew Mraz is right behind him there. Once again, that's not for position, but it is helpful if Andrew Mraz can climb past these guys. That would take away one of the laps he has lost. Let's ride along with Andrew there for a little bit. Obviously a disappointing turn of events for him in that early yellow, but that's racing. Stuff happens. And like I said, it ain't over yet. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, and anything can happen. We're running long green stints here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 2 turns of green flag pit stops behind us already. And we have Mike Perry and Marshall Stanley running for race and championship here at Las Vegas. Well, let's go check on Adam Pettit here. He's not that far behind the 2 leaders. We have a little wider angle, you can see that. He has Andrew Mraz still behind him. As you can see, it kind of looks like Adam Pettit is gaining a little bit on Perry and Stanley. And in their draft, they have Andrew Moore in the orange livery there, the Gulf car. Jason Branch running in 6th all by himself. He really needs to find a buddy to draft with. Matt Miller in 7th. Matt has made up 10 positions since the start. Andrew Hanley in 8th. Jordan Berry there in the number 7 car in the 7th position. Randy Perdue in 10th, and Jeff Ryan closing out this group in 11th. Let's bring you back up to the leaders here. It looks like the gap between Perry and Stanley has increased, and Pettit has caught up with Marshall Stanley, passing him now on the outside. That is Adam Pettit in the 57 car, picking up 2nd position in front of Marshall Stanley. The red car between Stanley and Moore is Andrew Mraz. And we have Kevin Nicoletta coming down pit road on lap number 63. Currently in, overshoots his pit. Also, Avery Wilson coming down pit road. Avery has dropped back significantly there. Wilson is actually 5 laps down. I'm not sure what happened to him. Mike Perry currently in the lead, leading by 0.6 of a second over Adam Pettit. Marshall Stanley hanging on to 3rd there. Then it's Andrew Mraz 2 laps down in front of Andrew Moore. Brian Fallon is in 5th, kind of by himself, and Jason Branch in 6th, also by himself. And behind Branch in 7th position, we have Matt Miller doing a good job here tonight, working his way forward. Jordan Berry in the number 7 car there, right in front of Jeff Ryan. Jordan was also involved in that first lap incident, or second lap. Jeff Ryan in the number 3 car. Let's go check back here a little bit further. The 31 of Scott Wise. Casey Duncan. Looks like Casey has had a little bit of contact. And that seems to be bothering him a little bit, although he did make up some spots once again. That is Bledsoe on his outside there. And that is Gerwitz right behind him. And it looks like Marshall Stanley has got Andrew Moore to worry about. There he goes to the inside. That means Andrew Moore picks up third position. Maybe Marshall has asked a little bit too much of his tires there in the beginning of the stint. Andrew Mraz right behind him. And Marshall's not giving up. Andrew is nosing that thing ahead, but Marshall on the high side comes back. A nice little battle here. Andrew Moore, Marshall Stanley, and Andrew Mraz. Although Andrew is not in it for the position right now, he is in it there to improve his own position as far as being behind. The 08 of Brian Fallon is mixing himself in there now as well. There you have him, 4 cars here side by side. And it looks like Stanley comes out on top there, picking up third position right in front of Andrew Moore. Brian Fallon closing out that little group, and then a little bit further back we see Jason Branch in 6th position. Andrew Moore picking up that 3rd spot now. And it looks like Mike Perry is one of the first ones together with Marshall Stanley coming down pit road. Andrew Mraz coming down pit road. Ryan Nicoletta, let's keep an eye on these guys and see how they come back out. It is Adam Patet that picks up the win. Andrew Moore, the lead, I should say. We're not at the win just yet. Lap 71, we're getting pretty close to halfway. Andrew Moore in 2nd, Brian Fallon in 3rd, and Jason Branch now in 4th, with Brian Fallon also coming down pit road. Mike Perry is out of pit road, and it looks like he is still ahead of Marshall Stanley. There's Marshall. There's Matt Miller. Jeff Ryan into the pits. And there you have your leader, Adam Pettit. He is coming down pit road as we speak. And that makes Andrew Moore Jr. our current leader here in the 77 car. Jordan Berry coming down pit road. Andrew Handley. Casey Duncan in the postal truck. Mike Perry currently in 12th position, but he's going to be passing these guys here shortly. And folks, that kind of has our fuel window answered. I would say we can do about 25, 26 laps on a fuel stint. Andrew Moore now coming in. Randy Yoakum picking that lead up. And that brings Scott Wise currently in 2nd. Jason Branch in the pit. And back out again. Spinning those tires. Scott Wise now coming back into pit road. Randy Bledsoe. Mike Perry currently in 5th position. And the guys ahead of him are yet to pit. So it looks like Mike Perry is picking up that lead there in a little bit. With Marshall Stanley behind him by about 3 seconds. That gap has grown quite a bit. Brian Fallon in the 08 is behind Stanley. That is, he's a little bit closer. Ryan Nicoletta behind him there. He's a back marker. Adam Pettit in 6th. Matt Miller in 7th. Andrew Moore in 8th. And Jason Branch currently in 9th position. Randy Eryokum going to the pits from the lead. Brian Rainville staying out there looking. Oh, he is going into the pits as well. That means that Mike Perry is going to be picking up the lead here shortly. 3.5 seconds ahead of Marshall Stanley. Marshall leading a little group here with Adam Pettit and Brian Fallon. And actually, Adam Pettit is a little bit further back. That was Ryan Nicoletta behind him there. So championship driver Mike Perry and Marshall Stanley 1 and 2 here in Las Vegas. Lap 78 of 150. Just past halfway. Mike Perry in a championship winning position. Marshall Stanley 3.6 seconds behind him. And then it's Jason Branch that is running 7th here. He is one of our final 4. And the final 4, the 4th of the final 4 is Andrew Mraz in the 23rd position. He has actually picked back up 1 lap of his deficit because he is actually running in front of the STP car there. So Andrew Mraz is almost 2 laps down, but currently he is only 1 lap down from the leader. So yeah, he still needs to make up that lap and pass everybody again. And it doesn't look like Mike Perry is going to make it easy for him either. He would not want to go a lap down right now. But it does look like Mike is a little bit quicker and reeling him in. Andrew running by himself, that doesn't help. Brian Rainville there also trying to unlap himself there from Mike Perry. He does so. But Mike is closing in on Mraz. Right about now would be a good time for a yellow for Andrew Mraz. But he's not going to get it. And they're kind of holding off. Ooh, there we're getting really close together there with Mike Perry. It looked like there was a bit of a touch there. There, Andrew Mraz back down 2 laps. Right behind Mike Perry. That is tough. And obviously he's going to do his best to stick with that number 2 car like glue. Oh! That would be a controversial incident if there is ever one. That is 2 championship contenders, the leader of the race and the championship fight, with the driver that is 2 laps down. They touch. Let's bring it back for you really quickly here. Luckily, Mike Perry is on the ball and he saves it. Only loses just a little bit of time, and I'm sure there's some apologies going back and forth there. I will give you 100% for sure that Andrew Mraz was not doing anything on purpose to disturb that race, and I'm fairly sure apologies are going over there. These guys can talk to each other on the iRacing radio, obviously. Mike Perry, your leader. 2nd place, Brian Fallon. And right behind Brian, it is Marshall Stanley with in front of him Andrew Mraz. And from as far as Andrew Mraz has come backwards from compared to Mike Perry, I will definitely tell you that he tried to back out of that. Mraz now going high, and it looks like he is trying not to make things too hard here for the 44 of Marshall Stanley. He would definitely not want to be known as the one that would take out leading championship contenders. Let's go check on Jason Branch. Jason is in a bit of traffic here. He is dealing with Matt Miller in the 78 car. The 41 is, let me see. That is Kevin Nicoletta. He is a lap down. And Jason is dealing with Matt Miller and Andrew Moore right behind him. Jason currently in the 5th position. And compared to Mike Perry, who has dropped down to 2nd, he is 5 seconds behind. It is Brian Fallon in the number 8 car that has taken the lead. We can try and see if we can find that moment. There it looks like it's happening. A little bit further back. Here you go. That is a pass for the lead of Brian Fallon passing Mike Perry. And obviously for the championship, it would not make a difference. Marshall Stanley in 3rd position still has Andrew Mraz there with him. It does seem to me that Marshall Stanley seems to be gaining on Mike Perry slightly. We have Andrew Mraz going to pit road. He may be calculating backwards as far as the fuel stints is concerned, hoping for a yellow falling his way at some point. Brian Fallon still in the lead, holding off Mike Perry there in 2nd position. And looks like Marshall Stanley has not been able to close that gap to Mike Perry. It is actually extending a little bit. Adam Pettit is in 4th, Jason Branch in 5th, still dealing with Andrew Moore and Matt Miller there right behind him. Adam Pettit going into the pits. And Casey Duncan. Aaron Gurwitz. Leaders still out there. Brian Fallon and Mike Perry. Dealing with Kevin Nicoletta there. He's a left car. Marshall Stanley going into the pits. Matt Miller going into the pits. Jason Branch now in 3rd position. That is obviously due to Adam Pettit's pit stop. Matt Miller has gone to the pits. Kurt Rittenberg, David Dolliver, Casey Duncan, Aaron Gerwitz all in the pits. Mike Perry following their example on lap number 94 coming down pit road. It's hard to tell whether that right front has sustained any damage, but I doubt it. There wasn't really much of a touch. Randy Perdue coming down pit road. Jeremy Rittenberg. And Mike Perry leaving pit road there. There's Jason Branch, currently your leader. Obviously still has to come down pit road. At least he will get some credit for leading. Jordan Berry, third position right now, also still looking to come down pit road. Andrew Moore doing that as we speak. And Jason still out there. Jeff Ryan leaving pit road. There comes Jason Branch. Mike Perry is already back on his way there, and Marshall Stanley is fairly close behind him, only 4/10 of a second between these guys. That might be a battle brewing there. Jason on pit road. Jordan Berry on pit road. This appears to be a fairly lengthy pit stop for Jason Branch. There he comes back out. And it looks like he'll be slotting in behind Matt Miller. Randy Yoakum once again staying out longer than everybody else. Picks up the lead. He is running in front of Scott Wise, Randy Bledsoe, Brian Rainville, and it looks like Michael Stanley is challenging Mike Perry there for the what is currently 5th position, but what could be the championship fight here. Meanwhile, Scott Wise going in pit road, Randy Bledsoe going to pit road, Marshall Stanley ahead of Mike Perry. Randy Yoakum going to pit road from the lead. That will hand the lead to Brian Rainville. Stanley and Perry there still going at it. Close together. That was Bledsoe coming out of the pits there. And it looks like Mike Perry is not giving up on this thing. He is right behind there in the draft. Brian Rainville going into pit road. That means that Stanley and Perry will pick up the lead here. There you have the STP car of Mike Perry. And I'm sure that the thoughts of championship are going to start thinking, they're going to start thinking about this stuff. Lap 102, we are in the final third part of the race. That battles might be heating up a little bit. Currently, this is the fight for the championship. Marshall Stanley and Mike Perry. Perry closing in once again. Let's take a quick look here at the Jason Branch, currently in 6th position. Mike Perry right along with him here. That is that red car. That is Andrew Mraz, championship contender, but once again about to be lapped. Mraz trying to stay on that lead on that lap, obviously. Andrew is currently 2 laps down. Bledsoe going around the outside there, 3 wide. Bledsoe trying to get his lap back as well. And Mike Perry kind of trying to stay away from these guys there for a moment. Andrew giving them good room now. And then slotting in behind him to try to catch that draft. And there we see Mike Perry going to the inside of Marshall Stanley, down the backstretch, side by side. This is for the lead. Mike Perry picks up that lead. That puts him in the lead for the championship battle as well. Marshall Stanley now in 2nd. Andrew Mraz behind him there, 2 laps down. Jason Branch still in 6th, leading Moore and Jeff Ryan. And what can Marshall Stanley still pull out of his hat? Ooh, it looks like Mraz is going down pit road there on lap 108. Perry in the lead, pulling away from Marshall Stanley by about 0.8 of a second. It's not a huge gap, but it is a gap. There you see it. And there you saw Mraz coming back out of the pit. And double check. Andrew is unfortunately now 3 laps down. And as we're progressing into this race, it looks like the championship fight is going to boil down to Mike Perry and Marshall Stanley here currently. Andrew Mraz being 3 laps down, that doesn't look like that is easy to that it's something he can overcome anymore. Laps are ticking away. Jason Branch is still in 6th. And if you look at lap times currently, Jason Branch is in fact as quick as the guys in front, but he is not walking towards them just yet. We have some more drivers going to pit road. Duncan, both the Rittenbergs. Perry now more than 1.8 seconds ahead of Marshall Stanley. It appears to me that Stanley has a little bit more trouble making those tires last. Brian Fallon is 3.5 seconds behind those guys. Matt Miller has closed the gap towards Fallon. Adam Pettit is going down pit road. That brings Jason Branch currently in 5th. Jordan Berry in 9th position, hanging in there. Anthony Handley in the number 4 car. He is following Randy Yoakum. Then we see Scott Wise, Aaron Gurwitz, Randy Bledsoe, Brian Rainville, David Dolliver, Casey Duncan back out again. And Avery Wilson still on pit road, or maybe back on pit road. I don't believe he's been running. Kevin Nicoletta in 23rd position, 3 laps down from the leader, on the same lap as Andrew Mraz. Your leader, Mike Perry. And it currently looks like Mike Perry is about 0.3 of a second quicker than Marshall Stanley. Jason Branch is quicker than Perry. If you would just look at lap times, Jason Branch is currently quicker than Mike Perry. But all in all, he's got 8.6 seconds to make up to get to Mike Perry. And he would also have to pass Miller, Fallon, and Stanley. So he's got a ways to go. Marshall Stanley looks like he's coming down pit road there. Matt Miller doing the same thing. Mike Perry still out. Brian Fallon in 2nd. Jason Branch in 3rd now. Mike Perry going for pit road. Marshall Stanley leaving pit road. And Jason Branch currently picking up the lead. A yellow flag right about now would help him pretty much too. But they don't fall when you want them, they fall when you don't want them. That's usually how it goes. Andrew Moore currently in 2nd, Jordan Berry currently in 3rd. Obviously, they still need to come down pit road. Randy Yoakum, once again, always we see him coming up to the front. He stays out longer than the others. Randy Perdue coming down pit road. That means Anthony Handley picks up 5th. Scott Wise now in 7th. And Jason having his moment in the spotlight here. And that is Mike Perry unlapping himself after the green flag pit stops. And that is the difference between fresh tires and older tires. Jordan Berry now picks up 2nd position. Andrew Moore coming back out. Mike Perry racing Adam Pettit there. That means that Pettit has gained on his pit stop. Marshall Stanley is behind those guys, unlapping himself from Jason Branch. And it looks like Jason is using this moment to come into the pits. Randy Yoakum picks up the lead. Jordan Berry also coming down pit road. Scott Wise staying out there, moving into 3rd. Adam Pettit has passed Mike Perry. They are currently running 8th and 9th, but they will be the top of the field when everybody has cycled through their pit stops. Those guys look pretty evenly matched here as well. Scott Wise coming down pit road. Randy Yoakum staying out longer than everybody else. Once again, still in the lead. And Adam Pettit and Mike Perry there. Once Randy Yoakum goes to pit lane, that'll be the race, the fight for the lead. There you have Yoakum going down pit road. That means that Adam Pettit and Mike Perry will be picking up the lead. Marshall Stanley will pick up third place, but he is 2 seconds behind Perry. Looks like he seems to be gaining a little bit there, but it's not going fast. Jason Branch in 8th. Jason running similar lap times as these two guys, Adam Pettit and Mike Perry. But it's not enough. Jason needs to be beating those lap times, and he currently is a little bit quicker, but not by much. Almost touching each other there, nose to tail. That is how you draft. There we see Mike going to the outside now on the backstretch. Picks up the lead. Adam Pettit still side by side there. And at the line, it is Mike that has it, but Adam takes it back. 31.72 is Mike Perry's lap time. A 31.12 is Jason Branch's lap time. So Jason is in fact quicker, but he's got, 6 cars between him and the leader. And it's not going to be easy for him to work his way past these guys because they're all equally fast. Bledsoe going down low there. Pettit following Bledsoe low to, I'm sorry, that's not Bledsoe. That is Scott Wise picking his lap back from the leader. Pettit now about a half a second down. Stanley seems to be gaining on these guys, both on Pettit and Perry. Stanley is a little bit quicker at this point. And once again, Jason Branch has the speed. He just doesn't have the track position right now. Scott Wise going down. He is going into the pits. That seems to be a little bit early, but he might be calculating it back from 150 and making this his final pit stop. One rule in racing is always you want to be the first man that makes the last pit stop. Because whatever happens after you have pitted, you can stay out and make it to the end. Mike Perry in the lead. Adam Pettit in second, and Marshall Stanley seems to be gaining on Adam Pettit. Marshall Stanley is not quicker than Mike Perry. Jason Branch is quicker than both Mike Perry and Marshall Stanley. But once again, Jason is in 7th position. He's got plenty of people he needs to pass before he can make it there. But if you just concentrate on the lap times, he is quicker. And of the championship contenders, we still have Andrew Mraz running around as well, obviously in the 22nd spot. He is quicker than all these guys way up there, but unfortunately 3 laps down. Casey Duncan going down pit road in the postal truck. Brian Fallon in pit road. Fairly sure that that will be their final pit stop. And once again, it can be helpful to be the first that does the first man that does the last pit stop can be helpful. Whatever happens after, you can stay out. Adam Pettit going to pit road off of 3rd place. Matt Miller, same thing, off of 4th place. That puts Jason Branch in 4th with no traffic except for Jeff Ryan. And once again, Jason Branch's lap times are quicker than Perry and Stanley. He might be closing in on him there. There's 11 seconds between Jason Branch and Mike Perry. But of the 3 championship contenders currently running, Perry, Stanley, and Jason Branch now all running 1, 2, and 3. Jason Branch is the quickest of them all. Not by much, but still. Ooh, Jason Branch taking an early pit stop here. Also calculating backwards, obviously. That'll give him the final stint on fresher tires than the other guys, maybe. Maybe that might be a tactical move that might pay off. It'll be hard to tell. Obviously, when we get towards the finish, he'll be on older tires than anybody that pits later. And as far as weight is concerned, it's not going to make any difference. Marshall Stanley coming into the pits. 15, 16 laps to go, excuse me. Mike Perry still out there. Running 32.2 as lap times. And he is now coming down pit road. Ooh, I hope he didn't overshoot that cone there. I hope he didn't get a speeding violation there. We might be able to bring that back with the dashboard on. Nope, the dashboard doesn't work when you're on replay. So I hope he didn't mess up that pit entry there. And it actually looks like Perry has a little bit of damage on the left rear. He's back out in 7th. Let's see where he pans out compared to the rest. Andrew Moore is currently your leader. Jordan Berry is 2nd. And it looks like, let me see here. Marshall Stanley is ahead of Mike Perry after those pit stops. And Jason Branch has gained on Mike Perry as far as distance is concerned. That is down to 6.1 seconds. It was 11 before they went to the pit. So Jason Branch might be on a late offensive here that might just work if he can get to them quick enough. There we see that Michael Perry has already passed Marshall Stanley by a pretty good amount too. And that we might want to bring back and see if we can catch that. There it is. 3 wide as they come down. And it looks like it looks like Stanley just got out of that. Lifted to avoid getting into trouble. Jordan Berry is currently your leader. Still has to pit one more time, I would think. The championship fight is currently being led by Mike Perry. 55 seconds, or I'm sorry, 0.5 of a second, half a second ahead of the 44 of Marshall Stanley. Jason Branch is currently running in 9th, but he has definitely gained a little bit on Stanley. Well, I'm seeing Jason Branch running a 31.5, and that is not quicker than Mike Perry. Perry is running 31.0, as is Marshall Stanley, so Jason Branch needs to be picking it up. 10 laps to go. 10 laps from our championship crowning. Mike Perry is the man in front as far as the championship is concerned. Marshall Stanley is 0.4 of a second behind him. Jason Branch is 7.7 seconds behind Mike Perry. Not running faster at this point. Andrew Mraz coming back out of the pits. He is still 3 laps down. I would say that fight has been fought. Jordan Berry giving up the lead to go into the pits. Randy Yoakum picking up the lead. I doubt he can make it to the end. Brian Fallon ahead of Mike Perry. And Brian Fallon should be able to make it to the end. So that means that Brian might just be picking up the race win here. Perry is pretty close behind him though. Closing in already. And it looks like Perry is the quickest of the championship contenders right now, running 1:31.0. Marshall Stanley 31.1. Jason Branch 31.5. So Jason did not have any advantage from that earlier pit stop, unfortunately. Mike Perry going after Randy Yoakum is shown as your leader. He has not yet pitted. Mike Perry has passed Brian Fallon. That's what's throwing me off here. Let's see how long Randy can hold this out. Fairly sure he would still need to go down pit road. He pitted last on lap 122. That does seem, yeah, he's coming down pit road. That is going to put Mike Perry in the lead of the race. He has Brian Fallon between himself and Marshall Stanley. And it looks to me like Jason Branch is a little bit slower than those leaders. He will not be able to close that anymore, I don't believe. Going into lap 147, 4 laps to go. Mike Perry in good position here. It looks like he is going to be the man to beat here at the Las Vegas Speedway. The final round, the championship round of the Blown Piston Racing Series. A strong contender all season long. Marshall Stanley has passed Brian Fallon. He is in second position now, 1.9 seconds behind Mike Perry. It would take a major mistake on Perry's behalf if he would make that. Lap 148. Back markers in between there. Mike Perry in the lead, going into lap 149, 2 laps to go. Marshall Stanley dealing with Scott Wise. Scott giving him the room he needs. The 08 of Brian Fallon is in third. The 09 of Aaron Gerwitz is a back marker. Jason Branch in 7th position. Not able to keep those lap times up. Mike Perry has taken the white flag here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The final lap is on its way here for him. 3.4 seconds ahead of Marshall Stanley in second position there, dealing with a bunch of people. Brian Fallon actually passing him for that second position, it looks like. Let's bring your leader home here. Mike Perry wins the championship for the Blown Piston Racing League. What a season it's been for him. It is Brian Fallon that inches to second place in front of Marshall Stanley. Then it's Adam Pettit, Jeff Ryan, Matt Miller, Jason Branch brings it home in 7th position, Andrew Moore in 8th, Casey Duncan, Jordan Berry in 10th position, Handley in 11th, Randy Yoakum in 12th, Jeremy Rittenberg in 13th, Randy Perdue in 14th, Bledsoe there in 15th, Gerwitz in 16th, Scott Wise in 17th, Kurt Rittenberg, I should say, in 18th, 19th is Brian Rainville, and Ryan Nicoletta is in 20th position. And I'm sure Mike Perry is a happy camper here today. There you have him. Donut time. Slinging a little bit of mud. And by the time he is done, there won't be any rubber left on those tires, I can assure you that. The number 2 SDP car, Mike Perry, your championship winner in the Blown Pistons Racing League. There you have Jason Branch congratulating his friend. And it looks like somebody else is trying to. That is Rittenberg. I'm sure they're teammates. Mike Perry brings in a couple more, putting his signature on the asphalt there. There you have your final standings, folks. Let's go see if we can talk to Mike Perry. Mike, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mark, I got you.
You're trying to ruin those tires, aren't you?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, first of all, man, congratulations on the race win, on the championship win. It looked like it seemed to be a battle brewing between you and Marshall Stanley, but in the longer the stints went on, the more solid you appeared to be there. Was it tire management that brought you this win and championship?
Yeah, it seemed to be a little bit better on the longer run compared to Marshall, and I think that was the deciding factor. It was a little hectic there on that last pit stop coming on pit road, so I knew I had to make my move and get out in front of those guys for the lead.
Now, it looked like, I'm not sure, but it looked to me like you had slight damage on your left rear. And can you tell me what happened? Do you remember?
Not that I'm aware of. Besides Mraz kind of driving like an idiot, but that might be what it's from.
That could have been absolutely. Yeah, that was that side. Yeah, was it? What was going on there? He was just trying to fight you to stay on the lap, I suppose. But for some reason, that didn't work out well.
Yeah, I understand what he's doing, but at that point he was going 2 laps down and yada yada. I don't want to get into it, but if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, right?
Well, I'll tell you something nice, then. I was impressed by how you caught it because at those speeds, I know from my experience that that is not easy, dude. It's easier to lose it at that point than it is to hold it. So good job on that.
I got a little lucky there, so I appreciate it.
Well, once again, Mike, congratulations on the championship win. You came out on top. You've been strong all season since I've been with you guys. Anybody you want to throw some love yous out there too?
Everybody at Misfit Motorsports, Kurt Rittenberg, Jeremy Rittenberg, Matt Miller, David Dolliber. I mean, they're couldn't do it without them. And thanks to Scott and Lauren Weiss for putting this league on. I really appreciate it. And then of course you for broadcasting, man. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Once again, man, congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thanks, Mark.
Jason,
Hey, how you doing, Mark?
I was keeping an eye on you, bud, and it looked there for a while. Before that last pit stop, you were actually quicker than Perry and Stanley, and it looked like you were struggling a little bit to close that gap. And obviously, if you were even though you were faster on lap times, you still had a bunch of guys to pass. So how was it looking from your end, man?
Uh, After about half the race, I started going into trying to figure out pit stops because I was pitting about 4 or 5 laps after them. So I short pitted that last lap or that last pit, and I just put on 2 tires, trying to gain some ground. I gained about 5 seconds on them, but they were 12 seconds ahead of me, and I'm just never that good at Vegas. I knew coming in that I'd probably be the wild card, but I'll take third. Third's all right for me.
You know, let's be honest, being in the final four after a season of all kinds of different tracks and races and whatnot, I mean, it's that is definitely something to write home about, I believe, Jason. And but yeah, you kind of explained there why, because I was kind of wondering why in that last stint you couldn't keep those same lap times up as you did before that final pit stop. But yeah, taking two tires might explain that. And yes, you did gain 5 seconds on the pit stop, but I guess then you kind of lost about 2/10 of a second per lap after that. So it was worth the try, obviously. And once again, man, I still congratulate you on a great season and a great final battle here. You gave it all you got. You can't do more than that, right?
Yeah, I can. For some reason, Vegas is just my nemesis. I seem to do better on tracks that you kind of have to finesse drive, and Vegas in a truck really isn't. Vegas in a truck's almost wide open the whole way, and I was kind of hoping we were going to go somewhere like a Dover or a Homestead or something where you really got to drive the track and not just wide open for the championship race. But again, I don't make the schedule. I drive what I'm told, and it just didn't work out for me. Vegas is my nemesis. It's always been my nemesis.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's still a good season for you to look back on, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely happy with the way the season turned out. Obviously you're going to be a little disappointed, but when you look back, there's a bunch of guys behind me that would have liked to have been in my position going into tonight. So I'll take the positive of that and come back next season, work on a new livery, and come back and get it next season.
All right, we can't wait, man. Thanks, Jason. Anybody you want to throw some love yous out there too?
Again, every time you interview me, I want to thank my wife and my kids and my teammates. Um, Again, I wish Andrew would have had a better night, but he doomed himself at the very beginning. But my teammates, Andrew, Casey, Ron couldn't make it, but appreciate all their help and this season, and we'll go get them next season.
We're looking forward to it, Jason. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Marshall, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You looked like you had something for Mike there. Most of the time, early in the stint, you had a little bit more speed than Mike, and then further into the stint, it looked like he kind of caught up with you there. That's been the story of the race, really, so far. Can you was it tire management, you think, or what was it?
Yeah, definitely like first 3 or 4 runs, just kind of more going for it because was kind of thinking that we would get a little bit more caution in, just from this race being you're really close, just you can kind of end up in a pack sometimes, and I kind of focused more on the short run, and you could tell Mike had the pace for the long run, which, uh, yeah, which was good for tonight's scenario, and I mean, congrats to him, he deserved it tonight, and honestly, even with me managing the tire the way it was, I just couldn't seem to figure it out there on the long run, and I had to keep short pitting and tried to get two there at the end and see what happened. And I think that 3 wide pass that Mike made kind of is like the picture right there of winning the title. Because once he passed me, I wasn't gonna catch him at
That
that point. I was giving it all I had. I was,
Yeah, that kind of looked like the championship pass of the race, didn't it?
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I Mike just had more, like wanted it more in that point in that corner. And I was in a spot where I was thinking I was gonna end up wrecking somebody just going 3 wide into three. So yeah, congrats to him. Congrats to all the four. It was a really fun night tonight.
Absolutely. It kind of looked like you lifted there. Did you actually lift there to just avoid having a wreck, or
Yeah, mostly it was that. I knew my teammate was outside of me, and I was just kind of in a situation where like he was going for the win, and like don't blame him. Like he's racer. It's what we're here for. And I thought in that situation, the only like thing at that point was to maybe let off and file back in with Mike and maybe get a run. But at that point, I did not have enough momentum at all to get with him. And then once lap traffic kind of played a factor a little bit, it was Mike kind of getting those like tense and tense and tense as it went. And yeah, that was the end of that.
yeah, exactly. I was kind of wondering about that because it looked like you were at that point the one deciding, hey, we're not going to wreck here. We're just going to bring them home, and kudos to that, man. It is easy enough to keep your foot down and be stubborn and get the tunnel vision of the win, and then everybody loses. So I take my hat off for that. That was a good
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
So,
I don't want to wreck somebody. I don't want to,
yeah,
especially
but
for the title.
you know how it is, Marshall. There's plenty of races where you see people, especially if it's for a championship race. I mean, plenty of people would not have done that. So I salute you on that, man. And
Yeah.
furthermore,
Thanks, Mark.
yeah. Furthermore, look at the positive side. You were in the final four. You worked all season for that, and you gave Mike a good run for his money. So yeah, I would still say it's a good night.
Yeah, I felt like I left it all out there, honestly. And I'm more of a road based iRacer. So when I come and do these, it definitely helps a lot when you do like IndyCar events and stuff. So to to be around like competing against a lot of these guys who are super competitive, like I'm really proud personally just to be able to keep up, to be honest, and to get second and keep up through the playoffs. Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely, deservedly so, man. Absolutely. All right, I say, like I said, I congratulate you on that. Anybody you want to thank or throw some love yous out there, sir?
I just want to thank Aaron and Adam for running tonight, and all the Rev Racing team, all the guys and sponsors that put their stuff on the car. Lauren and Scott for putting on an amazing season. Had a lot of fun throughout the year, and the four competitors that ran tonight, and everybody else had a good time.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Marshall.
All right, thanks, man.
Andrew, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I didn't want to leave this championship round before talking to you. All four of the final four, tried their hardest early on in the race. It went wrong for you. What happened, man?
Yeah, I was just doing the normal racing line coming off of 4. Didn't realize that the 8 was cutting his corner off to the middle there. I knew he was on my outside, and I saw that the leader actually cut his corner off, staying low. So I figured that the 8 was going to go higher than what he did. There was contact, and the big wreck ensued. I did apologize to said driver. Um, but yeah, it looked like a little bit of net code about a foot between us two. But yeah, I still took the blame for that.
Yeah, it was. That is to me. I mean, I'm not an oval driver per se, but every time in ovals, I kind of have the feeling that that is missing in what the spotter tells you. He tells you high, but that doesn't tell you how high he is, and that's kind of where it went wrong here. He was high, but he wasn't high enough for what you expected.
Right.
Yeah, okay. And after that, it was basically, I could tell you, I kept following you a little bit. You went through pretty much half the field. You worked your way all the way past a lot of cars. But obviously, it's a tough call when there's that little yellows to bring it back up front. What happened with Mike Perry? Was that just a misunderstanding there? You trying to stay on the lap that you were on and not go down another lap? What happened there?
Yeah, Mike Perry got a run on me coming off of 4, and so I took it low underneath the start finish line to get my lap back to be 1 lap down. He went up high and entered turn 1 and started coming down. I went down into the corner as well, and I stopped at the first seam there. And I saw that he kept coming down. Like, oh crap, this is not going to end well. But yeah, I mean, it's a racing deal. No biggie.
Yeah, well, luckily it didn't turn out into a big disaster because he saved it pretty good. But yeah, those things are unfortunate. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to put any blame on anybody. These things are racing incidents. I know you guys well enough by now that this is not something you would do on purpose or trying to improve your own position with it. Not at all. I mean, that to me that looked like a racing incident where it's just kind of a misunderstanding who's where and what's what.
Especially when the car passing has to make the clean pass.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, Andrew, too bad. I'm sure it's a bit disappointing for you, but then again, last week you were the hero, working your way from the final position in the standings to make it to those final four. So that is an accomplishment in itself. And tough luck, man.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun racing here, and look forward to next season.
Absolutely. Any love yous you want to throw out there before we go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Lowline Racing for sponsorship, Splash and Go Graphics for this paint scheme, you, Mark, for broadcasting, Lauren and Scott for putting up this awesome league, and 4X Racing being my teammates, putting up with me in my bull crap.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrew. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, folks, there you have it. We heard from all four of the final four. It was Mike Perry that came out on top. Mike being a little bit stronger on the longer runs, as we heard both of them explain. Marshall Stanley counting on a little bit more short runs and more yellows, which I can see him thinking that way with a field of 25 drivers on a track like this where there's a lot of pack racing, side by side racing. So I can understand where he's coming from, and it still was a good fight for that championship win. That nicely coincides with the race win here for Mike Perry. Jason Branch in seventh place. You heard him explain. He had to try something there at the end. He short pitted, took two tires. That kind of hurt his speed a little bit. It gained him somewhat on the deficit he had there on the leaders, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately. And then you heard from Andrew Mraz there. Tried hard. Early incident kind of threw a wrench in there, and it kind of didn't get much better from there. As again, he would have probably been helped a little bit by more yellows, but they stayed away. Everybody was very respectful tonight, very clean racing, and that's something that I've seen in this blown piston racing league quite a bit. I take my hat off to these guys. I know from experience that this is not easy. And as said, I'm not per se an oval specialist or a NASCAR truck specialist, but I've run them quite a bit, and I can tell you that it looks a heck of a lot easier than it actually is. So my hat's off and my congratulations to the champion, Mike Perry. This is the final race of the season, and we're hoping to be back, I believe, somewhere in October. We hope that you will be a part of it then again, and we'll see what happens then. And that'll be a new round and a new chance for everybody. So this is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. We thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you had fun with the series as much as we did, and we'll come again hopefully next season. We'll see you then.